IndyCar heads down to Birmingham this weekend for the Grand Prix of Alabama. Barber Motorsports down there. Joseph Newgarden, Hendersonville native, is the defending champion of that race. He had his big IndyCar breakthrough last year, winning in Alabama. Followed it up a few weeks later by winning in Toronto. Sat down with Joseph recently to talk about his success switching teams this offseason to Ed Carpenter Racing and getting set to go defend that crown down at Barber this Sunday. Just the start of this year to be back on the track and having a fast car, hopefully, most weeks and ready to go. How exciting is the beginning of the season?
It's nice to get going. I mean, IndyCar action is it's kind of a short calendar now. It's only about 7 months, so we've had a long off season, doing a lot of work in Indianapolis, trying to get things prepared. Come back here to Nashville every now and then, see family, but excited to get going. And we got the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500 this year. That's going to be in May, and then before that we go back to Alabama and Birmingham. We're going to race at Barber Motorsports Park, which is kind of my home race. It's the closest race to Nashville, so there's a lot of good stuff going on this year.
How do you get better? Oftentimes we ask Titans or Predators or whatever, they go in the off season. What's the thing you're going to work on in the off season? When you have a long off season like you did, how do you as a driver or the team get better?
Yeah, I mean, racing's like any other sport. If you look at the Predators and, they're working on, maybe it's a specific aspect of their game that they've got to improve. Same thing with the Titans, whatever it is, there's all little details that they can go through. It's all about the preparation for them. And when they get an off season to work on all the little details that they've had wrong, that can sometimes pay dividends coming back into the year. And it's the same thing for us. On the racing side, we work on the personnel. We try and work on pit stops. I try and improve as a driver. We work a lot on the race car, trying to make it as fast as we can, improve the engineering behind it. So it's all about details. Every sport has that. We try and maximize our off season and get ahead really, so that when we hit the ground running for a new season, we're a little bit better prepared than the year before.
Finished 7th in the standings last year. Got your first win. How do you build off of that? What do you got to do?
2015 was a great year. We got a couple wins. I got my first win, and then we backed it up with another win in Toronto. It's been really good to me so far, working with this new group at Ed Carpenter Racing. I feel good about the people I got around me. I think we've got one of the best IndyCar teams in the paddock. We're a little bit smaller. We're not quite the giants of Penske and Ganassi, the really big teams in IndyCar, but I think we've got the muscle to try and beat those guys. So, last year was 2 wins. Hopefully we can do at least that again, maybe get a third or fourth win, and if we can challenge for the championship again, then I'd be super happy about that.
You talked about the race in Birmingham. I know that's close to your heart. Tell people a little bit more about that. How do you get Nashville out to support you on your home track?
Yeah, I'd love to see more people from Nashville going to Birmingham, seeing the Barber race. I think we've got a lot of IndyCar fans in Nashville, more than people realize. And same thing in Birmingham. Everyone's like, oh, this is NASCAR territory. Most people want to go to Talladega. I think we got a lot of IndyCar fans down there, and I think we have people in Nashville that want to see IndyCar races. So if you're up for a road trip, you want to go somewhere with the family during the weekend, I think Barber's the place to go. Just travel down to Birmingham. It's 3 hours south. It's a great track to really watch IndyCar racing. You got a lot of hillsides where you can kind of walk around with everyone or just find your spot on the track that you want to watch. So people, I think, need to check out that one on the calendar. They can go to barbermotorsports.com and try and find some tickets and hopefully see good IndyCar action.
How are you received around here now? Obviously, you're a Hendersonville guy, so Nashville is very fond of you. But a few years ago, you were still kind of working your way up. Now all of a sudden, you're winning on the biggest IndyCar circuit there can be. Do you run into people who are like, "Hey, that's Joseph Newgarden all the time now," or how's that going for you these days?
I think sports is kind of interesting. It's not, you never recognize like an A-list celebrity. Taylor Swift walks into downtown Nashville, everyone knows who she is. Or Brad Pitt, everyone's gonna know who Brad Pitt is. Sports is a little different, especially racing. You get pockets of people that are fans of different types of sports, and racing's no different. You get pockets of race fans. So I think if you see racers that watch IndyCar racing, they might recognize me in the Nashville area, but most people that I see are just people I grew up with in Hendersonville or in the Nashville area that I've known, and that just kind of follow what I've been up to in racing Indy cars. So it's funny how that works, but you get the odd person every now and then that watches IndyCar racing and follows what we're doing.
You take the helmet off too. I suppose that's a disadvantage for being recognized for IndyCar drivers.
Yeah, it's a little different. In our sport, we got full face helmet and we're normally covered up all the time, so people don't see that side of us as much.
You gotta let the salad go. Let the hair free.
I know, man.
See those.
You gotta let people. I mean, even now, I'm covering up my hair. I'm not letting it shine. So it gets a little tough with our sport. We're confined.
How often do you get back here, though? Obviously, you're here for a short trip this week. How often do you get back and kind of see the home folks, the town you grew up in, and what's it do? Does it recharge you? What's Nashville and Hendersonville for you now?
Nashville's a great town. I loved growing up here. I try and come back as much as I can. Indianapolis is somewhere that I have to be too during the year, mainly because my team's located there. That's where we kind of do all our preparation for the next races. But it's only 4 hours away, so I try and get to Nashville as often as possible. I still got a lot of family here. My sisters live here, so this is one of the places I always think that I can come back and recharge. Just kind of get away from everything, hang out, see family, and relax. So Nashville's growing. It's a fun city. It was a fun city 15 years ago. It's becoming more fun now, but it's a great place, like I said, for me to just recharge.
As you said, big thing in IndyCar this year is the fact that it is the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500. How special do you think that will be when they drop the green flag and you're a part of it?
I think the Indianapolis 500 is, it's one of the most special events in the entire world for sports. And for racing, you're not going to find a more special event. It's going to be the 100th running this year. And if you think about it in terms of other sports, the Super Bowl was 50 this year. So, that's double the amount of time. I mean, it's pretty crazy how long-standing that event's been. It's still the single sporting day for the most attended sporting day in the world.